So today we're going to talk about the great IGL debate of our time, because it was rumored at Red Bull Homegrounds that Ye was IGLing for Cloud9, and we're going to talk about some of the struggles that Cloud9 had. But he sent out this tweet, and this is just like the perfect tweet because, it seems like it clears stuff up, but actually no, the debate rages on. Because Ye tweeted out, IGL stuff was a troll, boys. Now, I first read this and thought, okay, he wasn't IGLing in reality. They were just trolling. They were just having a laugh or whatever. But other people have interpreted this as he was IGLing, but his IGLing, he thought was a troll. He wasn't doing a good job as an IGL. I don't know what the correct answer is. I think it's hilarious that he tried to clarify or, tried to, kind of tell people what was going on. And then that led to even more confusion. So let me know whether you think Ye actually was IGLing or he wasn't IGLing. Because, yeah, the debate rages on. And I still actually don't know what the true answer is. But we are going to get into some of the problems that C9 had in their game against 100 Thieves and some of the weird things that they did that, kind of cost them, I think, some of these rounds. But before we get into that, today's video is being sponsored by Gosu Academy, whose Valorant Academy program is here to help you get better at Valorant. Now, on Sunday, the 18th of December, Neil Zeno, the current coach of Team Heretics, a tier 1 team in Valorant, is running a session for you. And for the first 50 people that use the code TMV, you can get the first 30 days for free. So you can potentially just get a free coaching session from a tier 1 coach. Sounds pretty good. Now, if you use the code before, I did one of these before and 30 people got the sign up, before for free, you won't be able to use it again. But for 50 of you who are new, it's a first come first serve basis to get a free 30-day trial. They also run weekly 10-man sessions as well for all skill levels with coaches there as well. So if you want to, maybe meet some friends along the way as well and, improve your Valorant gameplay as a whole, then go into the link in the description or in the pinned comment to go and sign up today for what is honestly a really, really good deal from Gosu Academy, and thanks to them for sponsoring the video. Now, before we get into any of it, because we are going to skew a little negative today, I just want to say it's a preseason tournament. Whether Ye was IGLing or not IGLing, honestly doesn't matter. It's a preseason tournament. Try stuff, right? Who cares? Doesn't really matter either way. They still got to the final. Everything is going to be okay. These are some really, really good players with a really good coach as well. They've got 2 months to figure it out before Sao Paulo. They will be fine, I think. So let's just get that, out of the way first, that yes, we are going to skew a little negative. That doesn't mean that the world is falling down on Cloud9 and there's some terrible team and, they got this far anyway, so they've already done pretty well. But they did make some mistakes in this game against 100 Thieves. I'm sure they would definitely agree with me as well. Because let's start off with the pistol round, right? Because they're just going to do a weird setup on this first pistol round, and then they're going to do it again, and I'll show you both as well, where 100 Thieves are on the attack side here on Icebox, and they're going to come towards this A site just here. And Cloud9 actually have 3 people here defending this A site, as you can see, and one of them is Leaf on the Viper here, and you can see what Leaf's Viper setup is, right? He's got the wall, the very common wall that comes across the A site just there, and he's also got the Viper orb here as well, just kind of where the normal kind of plant spots are, so that, you have to plant inside the Viper orb, which means, any utility sent in there, right? Viper mollies, KO nades, all of that, is going to, potentially kill you as you try and get the spike down, right? So that's his Viper setup. The thing is, though, he's going to come and take the rope and come and play in, a pushed up position just here ahead of all of his Viper setup, right? So he goes across the rope and he ends up just here, right? In the kind of nest area here. And this is kind of crazy, obviously, right? Most of you are probably thinking like, that is a bit weird, right? Why is it the Viper who is, coming here, right? Because you've got Zelsis on the KO here, and, if he was in this spot, I'd be like, okay, fine, because this is kind of normally going to be like, a 1-for-1 type spot a lot of the time, right? You might get 1 kill, but then you'll often get traded out, right? There isn't really an escape from this position. And by the time these players are coming towards the site, your position will 100% be known because you're going to shoot at them at some point. So why is this the position we're taking with a Viper when our Viper setup is back here, right? It just doesn't really make a lot of sense. And it plays out pretty much exactly as you would expect, right? Where 100 Thieves are going to come towards this A site, and as I said, this is normally like a 1-for-1 position, or maybe even, you die without even getting a kill, And, you know, what we're going to see here is someone is going to come up the rope, just there, Cryo. He's going to get one, but then, you know, he's spotted, and now Leaf is dead, right? And so, again, it just brings up, like it doesn't really make sense with this Viper setup, right? We were never going to get any use out of this Viper setup. Even if things went really well, we weren't going to need it because everyone would probably be dead. And if things, you know, went badly or normally, then yeah, this is going to happen where we're 1-for-1 or we die straight away. And the setup, you know, just doesn't make, you know, all that much sense. And now we don't have that Viper setup to help the rest of these players, right? And so, you know, there isn't really anything stopping them. The Sova drone comes in come 100 Thieves, and Ye's going to try and peek beyond this. He gets revealed by the Haunt. Zelsis actually flashes himself at that moment as well. That's actually his own flash, because 100 Thieves don't even have a flash, so I think it had to be his own flash, and then we end up with Vanity in a 1v3. And so you see just straight away, like, some of the... I don't know. Maybe there was a part to that setup that, you know, we missed, or, you know, something didn't happen that was meant to happen, or whatever. But either way, it clearly just didn't seem to make a lot of sense. But then perhaps what is even worse, really, is that they then used the same Viper setup just 2 rounds later on, you know, on the bonus round for 100 Thieves. Now, this isn't really a bonus round because they lost the 100 Thieves won the second round, but they only had one person alive, so they decided to buy back into it. But again, we got the same setup from this Viper, where you can't really see the orb, but, you know, the orb has been used, and I expect that it is pretty much there. And, you know, we got the same Viper, and again, Leaf here is going to come into Nest and, you know, try and get aggressive here as the Viper. And he's going to end up in this position again on his own. Again, he does manage to get one kill, but again, he's going to get traded out there, of course, by 100 Thieves. And so again, we end up in a 4v4. And generally, 4v4s favor the attackers, especially if we can get, you know, a good defensive agent down, like a Viper, for instance. You know, 4v4s, because the maps are obviously designed for 5v5s, you know, when you get into a 4v4 as the attacking side, you do have a bit of an advantage, because there probably is going to be a gap in there somewhere. 100 Thieves would go on to win this round, and it just does, again, like, bring up... I don't know, you know, what they were going for. And then to go for the same setup again, so, you know, soon after, you know, the pistol round as well, it just seemed a little odd, and I'm not quite sure that this, you know, makes a lot of sense. I don't know if this is something that they have planned, or if this is, you know, just Leaf deciding to do this or whatever. I don't quite know, but to me, this is one where, you know, it just didn't... It didn't quite work. And it's not like Zelsis was ever, like, in a position as well. It's not like, you know, everyone was playing aggressively together, right? Both times here, Zelsis has just been on the ground, kind of, you know, just, and eventually just kind of walked back as Leaf is taking contact. So it's not like, you know, we're fighting together as a team either. It's just Leaf being pushed up and Nest on his own, going 1-for-1 twice, which is just the expected outcome. And then we've just lost our Viper setup, right? So it just didn't make a lot of sense. And now let's come to round number 5 as well, because what we're going to see here is just, again, a weird decision. Like, you know, not even just, you know, like a mistake in the moment or whatever, just like a weird decision. And you'll see what I mean here, because 100 Thieves are going to come towards this A site. And again, we've got the same 3 players on this A site, and we'll talk about this in a second, but we just got Vanity here alone on this B site. And this was Vanity's position for a lot of this game. He was just kind of isolated here on his own for this B site. Seems like C9 had a very heavy emphasis on, you know, at least early on, trying to defend this A site, and this B site became honestly a bit of a problem for them, as I will get into in just a second. But 100 Thieves, they're going to come in. We get this little Brim one way here. One of the reasons to use Brim, they check back yellow, they clear it, they get the wall down, and they will get the plant down. Good molly there by Vanity to just delay this plant a bit, but ultimately the spike will go down, as you see just here from Stella. But now Leaf is going to come in on this retake, and he's going to commit the Viper's Pit, right? And you think, okay, that's fine, right? It doesn't quite go, perhaps, you know, where exactly he would want, I don't think, right? Like, basically all this Viper's Pit is covering that's kind of matters is, you know, this kind of square, really. And honestly, a Brim Smoke, I mean, they've still got 2 Brim Smokes left, so honestly, they probably could have just used that, you know, considering where this Viper's Pit really went. But that's not the main issue in the round. Some of you may have realized what the main issue in this round is they just committed this Viper's Pit, and look at their guns. They've got 4 classics and a frenzy in a 5v5 retake against a full buy, and you've got classics. I don't know what, like, the win probability of this round at this point, even using this Viper's Pit, is probably like less than 10% with classics, I would assume. Committing this Viper's Pit in this situation is just I mean, I'm sure most of you probably agree. It just doesn't make sense, right? Where you could use that on a full buy round, and it has a big impact, and it forces 100 Thieves to do something else, right? And so what's going to happen is exactly what you expect to happen here. Is C9 just don't have the guns to fight back, right? They just don't have anything to really fight back in this instance. They manage to get one kill, but then they get pretty much mopped up as Zephyr does pick up a gun, but it's pretty simple for 100 Thieves, and they essentially just waste a Viper's Pit on a round where it never really was going to make the difference. And so far we have been skewing pretty negative. But let's come to round number 8, which was a positive round for C9. It wasn't all doom and gloom in this game. I mean, it mostly was, but there was, this was a pretty positive round, I think, for the side of C9, because this time they're going to decide to fight in mid. You can see they got 4 players here, and they're going to come and fight this, right? And they're going to find the first kill here with Ye with the op, and then we're actually going to get a res and a bit of a spray down, to use a Brenism. So the first kill goes in there. We're going to get a res from Stella, and then Zephyr, I think, is just going to spray it down. They try and like cover it with a Sovereign. I think 100 Thieves are, kind of a bit impatient here. They're kind of wanting to get things going, and so Zephyr actually manages to get 2 kills. I think just, kind of spamming through this and just, knowing where that body was and knowing to get that kill. So he gets another kill just there, and we end up in a 5v3. Now, you can see quite quickly that they are aware that, there is a possibility that Bang could have come in here. You can see Vanity is checking on it. He kind of knows this is a potential, and actually it does happen. Ye uncharacteristically misses a shot, but this is kind of what I was talking about with, to me, this is a well-played round, in essence, from C9, because, I mean, yes, Ye misses a shot. That's uncharacteristic. It's not really what normally happens, but they're very diligent here, right? They don't really overstep the mark in a 5v3. They're very patient, and they're watching for this. They know that they're going to want to make a play. Both Vanity and Ye pick up pretty safe positions, and Ye just misses a shot, right? But this isn't like, this to me is well played by C9. That Ye just happened to miss a shot. How often will that happen? Not very often, right? So to me, that was pretty well played. And then here, right, they're still sticking together, these 3 as well. So, in that they're still in a plus number situation, so they're sticking together, right? They're making sure that they can trade each other and whatnot. So overall, I thought this is actually pretty well played, and what you're going to see is eventually Vanity is able to get this kill back on Bang. And now I like what Vanity does as well, right? He knows he's been spotted here. He knows that this B side has been kind of open for a while, so he just kind of waits, right? He's just kind of waiting and checking for information. Goes back to kitchen. They play it very, very passively again, right? And I like this because, they're just making sure there was kind of no way that they were going to lose this round, right? The spike's going down on B. They're still checking for any lurks on A, right? It's all very diligent. It's all very kind of, coordinated, and it's all very, very good from C9. And now Leaf, actually, as he just jumps down there, he's going to spot Bang. Sorry, not Bang, Cryo. Because he's going to end up pinging this, as you can see just there. And again, really, really well played. I'm not sure if you saw that it was the chamber or not, but either way, this is going to be great because we're going to get a KO knife in here as well that's actually going to suppress Cryo, and Cryo has the chamber ult, right? So he gets suppressed. Now he just has a classic out. A Leaf swings, really, really good from C9. They're then going to see where Derek is here, back yellow as well in just a second, as you will see, as Leaf is just, jiggle peeking that. Really well done. Get that information, swing together. Really, really nice round from C9. Everything they did here, I think, was really, really good. Other than Ye missing that shot, it was pretty much a flawless round from C9 overall. The idea was good, the execution was good, the patience was good, and, it's not all doom and gloom, is my point when I'm showing you this round. Finally, let's quickly finish with round number 10, because one big problem that C9 had in this half was on this B side. The spike would actually get planted 6 times in a row on this B side. To be fair, one of them was a 1v1, but other than that, for the most part, it was, a lot of kind of, group efforts coming towards this B side, and you could see straight away from the map, right, that this was the kind of normal setup. We've already seen it with these 3 on A quite a few times here from C9. This is the kind of default setup where, they're pretty heavily defending A. Very heavily, you might say, defending A. And poor Vanity is left on his own on this B site. He does have a chamber trap to help him a bit, I guess, this time. But, pretty much isolated, stranded away from the team, right? I mean, Zephyr has a pretty tough task as well because the chamber trap is being used on B. Because they were struggling so much with B, they put the chamber trap there, but that means that Zephyr's job became a lot harder because now, there's a lot of things for him to watch as well. So, there was just a lot going on, I think, with this kind of setup, and I think it took them maybe a bit too long to adapt. They did eventually, try some different stuff. It didn't necessarily work, but they did eventually try stuff. But, we were getting to the 6th round in a row where the spike was going down on B, and really Vanity, is left in this position where he's struggling. He puts down the brim smoke just there, but, now, you know, he's just on his own. He pretty much just has to let the spike go down. He's just trying to find the timing with this molly. He just picks that spot there, but actually they plant in a different spot, right? And this was kind of something that, yeah, they did struggle with on this B site. You know, Vanity just kind of on his own wasn't great. We actually get a 1-for-1 trade there with Vanity on the spike, and Cryo is just lurking here. Now, these two are going to, you know, quickly check on Cryo, whatever. He dances away, but then he comes back, right? They destroy the trap of Cryo's just there, and so now Leaf leaves because obviously he's just given away where he is. So, you know, he then leaves and tries to run away, but Cryo, like a shark smelling blood in the water, is just gonna slowly creep up here, knowing his great opportunity. He even has a second chance there, but now he's going to end it just there. And this was a big problem, not necessarily the reflanks coming in like this one. This didn't happen too often, but just in general, this B site was kind of another big problem that C9 had, where their setup, you know, was obviously very heavy A-sided, right? You've got an op on A and 2 other players on A and all of the Viper setup on A as well. And so Vanity is just kind of left on B on his own. And unfortunately for Cloud9, you know, their B retakes were never really good enough to ever threaten 100 Thieves, who are a very, very good team in that post plant. And so, you know, 100 Thieves basically exploited the fact that they, you know, seemingly knew we can get the spike down on B pretty freely, and then our post plants are very good, and we can just kind of exploit that. And it took C9, I think, a bit too long, you know, before they actually started fighting, you know, in these kind of areas, actually trying to stop the spike going down at all, right? We didn't really see a lot of that from Cloud9, and they got punished for it really pretty hard by 100 Thieves. So on the whole, to me, it didn't really matter who the IGL was. C9 made some, you know, mistakes, and hopefully they will learn from these mistakes and maybe, you know, go back to the drawing board with some of these setups as well. Not all is lost. They have plenty of time to figure stuff out, so it's absolutely fine. And they, as I said, they got 5 very good players and a very good coach. So I expect that given the time, they will be able to figure it out. And, you know, C9 will probably end up bouncing back, and, you know, we'll be like, oh yeah, C9 are a really good team, because they are, because they got the players, the talent, and the coaching staff to do it.